Hello, everyone. It's Mr. John from AK Dragonfish 3D, and welcome once again to the top of the stairs. This is episode 8, um, January 1st, 2025. Welcome to the new year. New year, new dad. That's the theme of this episode, and it's been a wild ride. 2024 has been one crazy ride, but it come to think, there's a lot of new dads out there. Like they're holding like baby babies, like baby babies, right? And so I had to find a new dad. And so my guest this weekend will be Sean. We pre-recorded it because of life events, craziness, and whatnot. Just like today, I'm recording on a Wednesday. I'm broadcasting on a Wednesday, not a Tuesday, because of the craziness that is the new year. So, new dads. Think about the time I was a new dad, and I guess the best advice I can give is patience. My parents raised me with a saying, patience is a virtue. If you master it, you master time itself. And that's pretty true. You know, if you can master patience, if you can be a patient person, I'm not saying, be Eric the Stoic or anything crazy like that. I'm not saying develop some kind of stoic mantra. Just have more patience than you had before the baby. Now, any self respecting individual most likely already has a working relationship with their mom, with the baby's mom. Okay. Husband, wife, that kind of combo. I fully support that in any aspect or scenario. Trying to adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. And so, but for those that aren't single dads, and I know quite a few single dads out there, that once again, my best advice I can give is patience. With my oldest, I had patience. I had patience galore. But my second, my boy, he just challenged my patience every single moment of the day. Hands down, this boy challenges my patience. Even today, as a 14-year-old, he still challenges my patience. And then my youngest, no, he challenges my patience too. It's like more kids, more patience you need. But yes, patience. Listening. Communication is key to survival, as I always say. I got an itch in my ear. Communication is key to survival. So you and your partner should be talking. This constant. I have to constantly remind my wife. Communication is key to survival. Talk to me. Tell me. Postpartum depression is a real thing, and that's where patience comes in. Not just patience with the baby, but patience with the mom as well, and with your partner who you just had a baby with, because men are logical, women are emotional, and all those emotions are going to be swirling. And what about this? What about that? And I don't feel pretty. And look at this. And hold it. No, you've got to give that patience to let them work through it. And for the third tip, positive reinforcement. Babies aren't stupid. They might be ignorant because they're a baby and they don't know anything, but they're not stupid. Okay, they learn fast, really fast. So we go back to expectations. We go back to setting the example. You're not only setting the example for your child that you're holding in your arm, you're setting the example for your spouse. You're setting the example for your friends who observe you as new dad. And it's all got to be positive. You can't be negative. You can't be like, no, fuck this shit, fuck this hoe, whatever. You can't. No, no, that's bullshit. Don't act like that. That's just bad behavior all around. I'm getting straight to the point here, because there's really not much to share other than straight to the point. It's been 14 years since my youngest was 13 and a half, since my youngest was a baby. But it's like it was yesterday. Her crawling around, her being a little snot rocket, getting into things. Just patience, my peoples. Patience is key. You need patience. You need to listen. You need to set the expectations, be understanding, positive reinforcement, and it'll come to you. It's it's instinctive. You made that choice. You and your partner made that choice to form a union and have a baby. So you probably already have the instinct in there. I had the instinct a long time ago. A long, long time ago. I've been stepdad to several children, or pseudo stepdad to several children, and that instinct has always been deep in me, to be dad. So it's nothing new. I pick a baby up and it's like, hey, look, dad mode, click, right? Even when I was like 18, 17, and it only refined as time went on. It just refined. However, some dads don't have that instinct. They're lost in the sauce, man. They're like, yo, my wife's losing their flipping mind. What do I do? Be patient, communicate, be positive. There you go. That's how I got through three of them. That's how Mr. West got through 10 of them. Patience, communicate, be positive. It's not hard. It really is not hard. If you find it hard, grab a network. That's my fourth tip. Lean on your network. Don't be afraid to call your mama. Don't be afraid to call your dad. Hey, dad, what do I do? Hey, mom, what do I do? I was like that. I was afraid to call my mom. I didn't have a dad really. I was afraid to call my mom and be like, Mom, what do I do? But I did it because some things I just didn't know. As a parent, there's just some things that I didn't know, and I didn't know it. Wife didn't know it. Parental instincts weren't helping. YouTube wasn't a thing. Wasn't a prevalent thing. So it was, Mom, what do I do? If I can get a hold of my mom, call one of my aunts, auntie, uncle. What do I do? And they kind of gave me those tips. So again, build a network. Lean to your buddy and be like, who has kids, and be like, homie, what do I do? I understand my takes me this far, but how do I go beyond that to the next step? So a network. You gotta have a network, man. Straight up. Okay, so my guest this week is Mr. Sean. Mr. Sean is a highly intelligent chemist, great friend, great dude to be around. And I pre-recorded our conversation due to time constraints. I'm gonna move my camera here so I can see my screen a little better. And I'm had some microphone issues during the first quarter of our conversation, so I'm gonna fill in some dialogue or some touch-up dialogue as I play our conversation here. So let's get to it here. So this is Mr. Sean,
Fairly.
and the first thing I ask him is, what are some tips he wish
Okay.
he knew day one that he didn't quite know day zero or day negative one, if you will.
Uh,
And I'm skipping ahead to that point. Again, I had some.
I have always, been under the assumption of like people will only let you down, don't even ask. And definitely my perspective has changed. You need to like ask for help. That's totally fine. And that is something I'm just now learning, right? Like 32 years into my life of how to do.
Yeah. So then I asked him some expectations he expected during the journey. Some things he didn't quite expect that he's encountering, some things he did expect that he's now encountering, etc. That's kind of what I asked him here.
Yeah.
I got kind of long winded. I apologize on this part. I really need to nail down this audio. It's like every episode
You
seems
know,
to have
I,
one
I
audio
think
issue after
my
another.
original expectations were that he was going to be a lot of work, right? Like I knew, I was an insomniac, like it's just going to be naps, kind of, when he sleeps, like maybe I'll sleep. And well, and I think just with how he is right now, and being born so early too, it didn't help that we're up 24/7 with him, to make sure he is doing fine. Like we are not necessarily sleeping while he sleeps, right? Like, one of us is generally sleeping at any given time of the day, and we try to schedule ourselves for a few hours together, so that way we see each other more than just in passing off of the baby. Um,
So here's
well,
where
and in the beginning, for the first few weeks, that is all we did. It was literally like if one of us was awake, the other was asleep.
yeah, that's I remember those
Pass it off,
days.
pass off the care, and you know, and I think that's kind of when we came to realize that like we need help. Like we can't just do this on our own the whole time, right? Like, and there's instances, especially now, where sometimes literally all he wants is mom. Right? Like that is the only answer. It doesn't matter what I do. Like that is his need, and he will cry until he gets that. And so, sometimes it's just, well, I'd say that's also hard for a new dad, right? I'm used to always having the answer and practicing everything and finding what works. And sometimes the answer is not me.
That's gotta love the scientific method. So, right here, I'm asking how he's finding the difficulties of work-life balance and how his missus and him are kind of working together in this aspect of it all. So, we recorded this fairly late at night,
Mhm.
so we're both kind of tired in this in this clip. So,
Yeah. At least if I have bottle, he at least likes me for bottle time.
so
At least
oh
I
yeah,
still have
bottle
that.
time bonding.
Yeah.
Bonding's always good. Bottle time and everything else. So,
Mhm. That it's a small company, and
so again, we go back to work-life balance. I finally got around to asking about work-life balance. So, this is the aspect where we asked about talk about work-life balance and whatnot.
he can do a small thing here and there.
Here we go. This is kind of important about work-life balance. It really is. One of these days, I'll get my audio fixed. I'll get all the little kinks and bugs and worked out. It's my first podcast. I'll make more podcasts out there.
Well, and this, I'm so thankful for my boss. Right, partly that he's been through this, but that it's a small company and he understands, very family oriented. Um, and it's one of those two where I'm very thankful that in my point in my career, I have deadlines. I don't have hours of the day. Like
Yeah.
right now, like I take night shift, and so I generally work from like midnight to 6 a.m. And I'll still try and be available during the day and do a small thing here and there. But definitely, I've been very, very lucky that, you know, it's not full time right now. I'm not needed full time. I mean, normally in the winters, it's downtime anyways, where, I've had winters where I never once have 40 hours in a week. You know, yeah, there's busy deadline weeks and, it's crazy, but I think I'm very, very grateful for my work situation at the moment because I get to, in essence, set my own schedule, and just hope that I don't miss deadlines because, kid's number one right now. Making sure he's set up and doing well and getting him into a better place, is still number one. And then say just yeah, at night between like midnight and 6, if I can get him to sleep and the only thing he needs is a bottle here and there and a little cuddles to get him back to sleep, like I literally we have a little wheeled it's not like a stroller, it's like a wheeled bassinet, but it's on wheels and like collapsible wheels. So it's like a stroller, but it's a bassinet instead of, stroller seat. And
So yeah, I
yeah,
was telling him about
but
the
I
bassinet that
literally,
I
I
had.
no joke, wheel him into the office. He sits right behind me, turn him away so my three giant bright screens don't, blind him. But I can just wheel him around and then wheel him back to the living room for bottles and comfort and diapers. And um, yeah, it works. Better than me.
So, well, we're diving into the conversation about how his wife's handling everything uh, post
Yeah.
postpartum and how they're meshing together, what kind of help they're having and such. We'll eventually start talking about their parents here in a minute. And I find it,
Well,
um,
I know it's hard on both me and my wife. We both have our own challenges, but also, this kind of made me realize like my network of help and people and friends kind of had dwindled. Like my wife has people and her friends are having kids and they have in the past couple of years, and she has people to be able to talk to and ask questions, and that especially with everything going on and being so busy, and then also me taking night shift, like that was one thing it really made me realize was that my network was lacking.
yeah. So I'll pause it there. So I was pretty upbeat then sharing this story, but so when my kids were small folk, when my kids were small folk, we lived in Washington State, and my mom was only 3 hours away at that time, and I could not get her to leave us the fuck alone. That is legit. Anytime she could hop a Greyhound bus and go over the mountains, or find a ride, or hey, what are you doing? Are you off on a Friday? Come pick me up. I want to come spend time with you. Like, I mean, mine were toddlers. Sam was still 1, 2. But the point is, I had her as a network source, even if it was temporary. And she loved coming. They respected her. They listened to grandma. Uh, so it's one thing I'm gonna miss about my mom being on this earth is her willingness to communicate and come visit and say hi. Um, there's not much of my other family by blood that is willing to do that. I don't even know if any of my blood family watches this podcast or any of my channels. And quite frankly, I don't care. But my mom watched these. My mom did. She until the day she died, she took 5, 10 minutes when she was doom scrolling. I'd cross her feed and she'd pick the phone up and send me a text. Hey, that's a cool video. Hey, I like that. A lot of it was all of the nature shots on this channel and whatnot. Um, so so that's what Sean and I are talking about right here. And let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
there we go. I got kind of long winded there.
um I don't have a network down here. I have for a little while there on Sundays. I had a small group I was doing Warhammer with. um I mean, that's kind of since gone out the window with the kid. Not enough time for taking a 3/4 of a day up for that anymore. uh but no, I don't. And that's kind of what it really showed me too, is that I don't have a network here. Now we sorry, energy drink burps.
Respect.
Caffeine, that's
Caffeine.
also number one. But yeah, we've been really grateful. My mother-in-law has been coming up to help us. 2.5 hours without traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. 2.5 hours without traffic.
So
We're talking about lower 48 people. 2.5 hours is a long time for them, but we're Alaskans.
yeah, and mother-in-law, she actually was a mine truck driver in the 70s in Alaska. Yes, so she's first, and yeah, she met my wife's dad in Alaska, and and so they're all, yeah, that she's totally fine with it. She loves it and is just happy to be able to come up and help too. But that's really been the only sport, and that is something that I'm looking to change. Reach out, talk to you guys even more, right? Like it makes me realize, like, hey, okay, you know, I'm in the Discord a little bit, but that's not life. That's just Warhammer. Different.
Yeah, our Discord's kind of grown since beyond just Warhammer in the last like years and change.
Yeah, I've noticed that Discord has changed for sure.
Okay, so let's skip ahead a little bit here. I think this is about the time where I realized the audio's
It's been
fixed. There we
recorded.
go. There we go. So I'll go ahead. So I'm gonna go ahead and click over to just the screen and mute myself here, and we're gonna just let it play. And this is once again Mr. Sean. On episode 8, we're talking about new dads.
It's been recording you the whole time and not me. That's hilarious. So
Fun voiceovers for
no,
you to add.
I know, yeah. To add in the post processing, once again, we're pre-recording this conversation for next Tuesday's broadcast. So let's move on to a fun question. So normally I ask a person one fun question, but I'm gonna ask you two because do your
Okay.
new thing. All right, and they're gonna go kind of tandem. They're gonna go kind of tandem. Okay, so you got anyone, anytime, anywhere to babysit for one date night. Okay, who is it? Anyone, anytime. The person has a time machine. You can pluck them from time like Fate Stay Night. You can summon them isekai from isekai style from whatever genre, universe, whatever. I don't know who you got and why.
You know, Maybe it's just because I was painting just right beforehand, but the first person that came to mind is Duncan.
Duncan. Okay, like it comes to mind. Like I vaguely recall who Duncan is, but for those that are watching, who is Duncan?
From all the Warhammer painting videos, he started then he started his own paint company, the Two Thin Coats,
Ah,
and
Two Thin Coats.
he is, yeah, the Two Thin Coats guy.
Two Thin Coats guy. You'd want.
Uh-huh.
Why would you want him to babysit?
I because he just seems so calm, and like he's got that voice, right? Like just
He
that
does.
calming voice. I'm like, my kid would probably love that.
He just
He's
like
kind of like,
zone out.
yeah, I don't know. And probably the face. I mean, I'll bet you, I feel like his face, just, it's not a baby face, but it's a face a baby would love.
Okay, so the second half of that question. Okay, while Duncan is babysitting your kid, date night. Where are you going? What are you doing? You and the missus. Anywhere in the world. Duncan's babysitting. Anywhere in the world.
Oh,
Money's no object. Where are you going? What are you doing?
oh, anywhere in the world. Oh boy, that changes it because I knew the answer of what we'd be doing around here for a date night.
Yeah, sleep.
Oh no, I was gonna say like massages and spa and a nice
Well,
fancy
there you
dinner.
go. Massages, spa, nice fancy dinner.
Yeah, at that point, that's probably still the goal. Just go do it in like Paris or something,
Italy, Paris.
or Iceland, and go do it around like an Icelandic hot spring. Actually, ooh,
That would be dope.
yep.
That's
Talk
because
about romantic.
there's like a hot spring at the bottom, like somewhere in like northern. I think it's northern Norway. That's it's either Norway or in Iceland. It's the hot
Mhm.
spring is at the base of an active volcano, and you just sit in the hot spring and stare at the volcano and just that's my
Yep.
perfect trip, perfect date night, perfect like guys night out, whatever. It's we're going there. You give me
Oh,
unlimited budget, unlimited time, we're going there.
oh,
So
see, as much as Iceland and at the base of a volcano would be, For me, I'd rather do that in Japan, like
That
up
would
in the
be
mountains.
cool too. That would be
Yeah,
cool. Like get one of those spa places at the base of Mount Fuji. Like you're no matter
hmm
what window you're looking out, you're staring at Fuji.
Oh yeah.
That would
Well,
be cool.
let alone, I mean, especially for a guy's trip. I mean, talk about dweebing out. Like that is the place to go for both like beauty and just geek
Yeah. So
and food.
food, yeah, food is good over there. So I hear.
Hmm
So I only got to experience some street food in Japan. I only went once
Yeah.
and had to drive a bunch of officers around in a 15-pack van in downtown Kyoto. I got some street food, drove them around, and drove back to the airbase. That's the only time I've ever been there. I got like one or two pictures on film somewhere of one of the castles. That's it. I was too busy, stressed out in my 20s, drinking energy drinks, trying not to run over small little Toyotas. Big old 15-pack
But
van. That's I want to go back to Japan. So, all right. Back to point, man. Back to point.
yeah.
Back to point. So, you mentioned you mentioned your mother-in-law. How is your family, your family, and your wife's family, um, participating or not participating, engaging, not engaging? How is the larger dynamic treating you, and what can you give advice to other dads that are in similar situations to I don't know, make it better, make it worse, whatever. Like I had to tell my mom, example, when we moved to Washington after I got in the military, Sam was one, yeah, she was one, right? She had her second birthday after we moved into Federal Way. I couldn't get my mom off my goddamn back. You know, rest in peace, mom. But she rode my ass. She rode my ass in a very negative way, and she just wouldn't leave us alone. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but give us some space. So, what are some experiences you're having with your extended family, and some advice you can give other people from your experience?
I mean, I guess I'll start with the advice first. Take and keep what you have. It's not worth the energy to try to make something different at this point in time. Like we cut my mother out of our lives about 2 years ago. You
Wow.
know, um, like full cold turkey blocked. Tried to have conversations, tried to get her help, and just it was really negatively impacting our lives, and especially with everything we had going on and trying to get pregnant and then go through IVF. It's just it was something that we didn't want and we couldn't deal with and was only getting worse. And so we cut her out. And as much as that especially pains me now to not have her in my kid's life, it's not worth it. Like I can always try to rekindle that at a later point, once my life's more settled. Um, so that's advice number one is, you know, keep and maintain and cherish what you do have and keep it at that.
Yeah.
Like the support you have, use it. Right. I mean, we have her mother-in-law and, um, or yeah, my wife's mother. That's how you say that. And, I know she'd probably be here 24/7 and live in if we asked her to. Um, but also glad that like she's not trying to force that and just is being very supportive. Um, which not everybody's so lucky to have, like a person who understands and respects us, right? And those boundaries and just what our basic needs are for that, and can give us space, and not hound us or make us feel bad for that. Um, in terms of the rest of the family, I mean, my wife has a big family and a big extended family, and everybody's supportive and have been sending us stuff. Um, and I don't have family, right? Like, cut my mom out. My brother, don't talk to him too much. He's got his own thing going on. Just got married this summer finally, and
There you go.
um, yeah. And then my dad and mother-in-law are coming up, um, no, not mother-in-law, that'd be stepmother.
Stepmother.
Yeah. Yep, stepmother are coming up actually on Monday.
There you go.
Generally, which is good. I mean, I generally only see my dad about once a year, and I know now he's kind of getting
Up there.
sappy, realizing that, like he was never around when I grew up because, he was traveling, right? Making the
Yeah.
money, traveling the country, was in business. So he's just flying everywhere to all the offices. But, in a lot of ways, like he regrets that. And I think it's one of those two where now that he's getting close to retirement and, is a little bit more sad and tries to travel less. um, it's just, I think he wants to try and give my kid something that he didn't necessarily give me.
Yeah. Oh, he's in grandpa mode.
Yes.
He's
Oh
in
yeah, 100%.
He's in grandpa mode. 100%. He's in grandpa mode. It's always fun to have the grandpa mode kick in.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be interesting because I never even really knew dad mode with him.
Oh wow. Okay.
I rarely ever saw him. I like 2 memories before I was the age of 14 with him, and they weren't good memories either.
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I can't say I had a bad childhood, but it's one of those where it's very different on my side of the family. And that's also really all that we have. I think technically, there's more family, but my parents don't talk to them. I don't know them. Most of them I've never met. Um, I mean, hell, I'll never forget. I didn't even learn my dad had a sister until I was 21 and brought up that I had met somebody. He asked her name. I said Lindsay, and he goes, "Oh, that's my sister's name." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Oh wow.
So, it's the best advice I can give is just take what you have. For dads, take the family you have. Don't take it for granted, and appreciate what's there.
And okay, that's great, man. I appreciate that. And some advice I can give you, and this is from it sounds like your dad's about to do what my mom did, right? First time, come over, have a conversation with your wife. Okay, you need to have a conversation with your wife. You need to draw some boundaries about what he can and cannot buy for the child, because you think about it, he's gonna come over and he's already got something in his mindset, right, of what he expects. And so he's gonna probably bust that credit card out and just be like, let's get this and let's get that and let's get the next thing you know, you're gonna have 3 wheeling bassinets around the house. You don't need it. So my advice to you is have that conversation with the wife to lay out those expectations before Monday rolls around. So when your dad goes, hey, let's all go out to the mall, you could be like, hold up, Dad, we are not buying this because we already have it. Right?
Yeah.
This is what we need for the kid in the next 6 months. Because he's a beanpole, right? He's a little bean baby right now. And he's gonna grow like a weed. If your dad buys him any clothes, in 6 months he's gonna outgrow them. And then, so have that. That's my advice to you on this topic of having your dad come over. Is that something I didn't do, and my mom just threw the credit card at the kids, and 3/4 of what she bought was null and void in 6 months, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this crap now? So
yeah. Well, and I think it may be different when they come here too, because so far from a distance, and I think partly this is his wife kind of maybe reining him in, but also, part of where I get my anxiety in life is always trying to do the right thing, right? Never disappoint, which can make me a great dad over time. But it
it'll
also
definitely make you a great dad over time.
Sometimes I just won't do something because I don't know it's going to be perfect, right? And so in some ways right now, at least, they have the mentality from a distance of just tell us what you want us to get you, right? Or tell us the one thing, let us throw our credit card at the one thing you wouldn't buy for yourself for him.
Yeah.
Right. And which is nice.
But make sure you loop your wife in that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all right, man. Sean, it's been great. It's been awesome to see you. We got to do this more often. More than just being on my podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely do. It's been good to actually talk to someone. It's been some pretty lonely nights. But that is sometimes the struggle of a dad is you are the person in the background. You're doing sometimes just the basic care, and for right now, like if I can survive, I'm good with this.
Yeah. So,
But it's always nice to talk to someone else for sure.
all right. Yeah. So you ready for the fun thing?
Yes.
Okay. So I forgot to ask you the 10 words. So I use Grok on X. Grok's X's new AI platform. So I asked Grok 10 words. And I said, give me 10 words. And it gave me 10 words. And I said, RNG those 10 words. We landed on the word coffee. As funny as it is. We landed on the word coffee. So
it knew me.
it's like it knew. It's like I knew we're gonna talk to Sean. So when it comes to dads,
yes,
when it comes to being a dad, as a new dad, when it comes to being a dad, how does the word coffee and everything related to that word, what comes to mind?
Oh, it feels like my best friend just came to town.
I'll agree to that.
And yes, I mean that's why we have an espresso maker. We have the Nespresso for just the quick pods of a cup of coffee. That's why we buy now Costco sized everything from Costco bag of beans to Costco pods to Costco cases of energy drinks. And yeah, it's a best friend that keeps me going. It is what pats me on the shoulder and says,
Attaboy.
You can do this.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about coffee and the big three. So when it comes to tabletop wargaming,
yes,
gaming as a general, so it could be video games. I've had some guests, they didn't really jive with tabletop wargaming, but you do. So namely tabletop wargaming, but it could be any gaming in general. When I say coffee, what comes to mind? You know what comes to mind with me? Cyphus Kane. That's what comes to mind when I think coffee. Because he's always asking his Valhallan minion, go give me some recap. Go give me some recap. I need a cup of coffee. Go give me some recap. I don't care if you're the ugliest thing in my unit. You go get me, the commissar, a cup of coffee, or I'm gonna shoot them if you don't come back with coffee. And Jurgen was like, right, boss, and ran off and always comes back with coffee. What about you? What comes to mind when I say coffee and Warhammer or coffee and tabletop gaming?
It literally, my brain just went to a whole color palette of this is what I would paint. I mean, we're talking like the Minotaurs from old Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, that have been around forever. Even before Age of Sigmar was the game.
Yeah.
The Cygor and the Gorgon, like painting skin tones and fur and just that whole like coffee palette from
that coffee palette as a color palette. Dude, those are
the rich
badass.
The tan creams. I mean, oh yeah,
you got some behind you on your workbench that's close enough to show.
Let me see.
I see lots of colors behind you, sir.
Oh, I know. And yet, oddly, not a lot of browns. A lot of skin tones, but wait, let me see.
He's hunting one. He's hunting one.
No, because what you can't see off screen too is all down on the floor. Over on that side is all of each of my armies that I would take to the store to play.
There you go.
And another cabinet behind me, right? That's full. I've got some stuff over there, but nothing coffee related. I'm trying to think. Closest I might have. Actually, you know what? One of my custodians.
There you go. I know you got some. See, while he's hunting the model, a bit about Sean and his painting is Sean really loves to paint outside of the box, and so Sean always comes up with very badass. Pull it back just a hair. There you go. Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
stone
that armor
custodies.
has, it's still kind of blurry. Put your hand behind it like this. Do this. There you go. Now the camera focuses on. Oh yeah, that's much better. See, look at the browns. See, it's more, it's less metallic and more brown, like coffee, like stained coffee. So there you go. All right, man.
Hmm.
Appreciate sharing that. All right, so
Yeah.
all right. Next of the big three is outdoors. Namely, I know you're not much of a fisherman, but outdoors. When I say outdoors and coffee, what comes to mind? Because I can't go fishing without a can of coffee, man. For real, it's coffee, energy drink, something. I always got it on my pack.
Yeah. I
But
mean, nice hike, nice morning hike in the woods.
there you go.
Honestly, and not even a hike, you could just be sitting outside. Like one of the things I love. I mean, at my back porch, there's nobody that lives behind us. It's currently just a empty kind of woodland, old, unused 90-acre farm,
Wow,
and just
wow,
being able
cool.
to
So
sit on
just
the back
go out
porch
there
and
and have a hike and a coffee.
yeah, not even a hike, just stand against the railing of the deck with a cup of coffee and just look at trees. Be outdoors, feel the wind. Honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do in the summer, especially those early mornings. Oh, and the speeding sun has not come out yet.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah, that's one of the most enjoyable places for me to have a cup of coffee.
Yeah. No, mine's all always down by the lake. Like right after I'm done fishing, it's like let's take a break, enjoy a can of coffee, enjoy nature. I hiked
Hmm.
like 3, 4, 5 miles out here to get here. I'm gonna sit and enjoy it for a bit before I hike back. So, all right, final word. Final word is 3D printing. So when I say 3D printing and the word coffee, what comes to mind?
Okay. I don't know about coffee, but what I do know is regret is what comes to mind. That I
Regret.
still have not gotten myself a 3D printer
There you
every
go.
year. Like almost every month, I have, told myself I'm going to get one. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to, space. And then it never happens. And then the next thing is like, okay, well, can't put it in the garage because now my wood shop's set up. Can't put it in the office because now my painting is set up and there's no more space.
Oh,
Can't
there's
put it out
space.
in the house. The kid just came.
There's space. I see the space right there where you got that sun rod. You could easily fit one up there.
The what?
The red and black flashlight. We call it a sun rod.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Costco 5,000 lumen flashlight. We call it a
Yo.
sun rod because it's already dark, man. It's 4 o'clock right now. It's already pitch fucking black
Oh yeah,
outside. We turned that thing on. The neighborhood lights up, and they're like, "Whoa!"
dude,
We've
and it's like $30.
It's like, yeah, it's like $30 at Costco. It was great. Best investment I ever spent. I got
Uh-huh.
ones in the house, ones in the car. They hold their
Mhm.
charge forever, even in negative weather. So, comes to mind when I think of coffee is I just printed a bunch for some friends and whatnot, some other friends, is coffee coasters. So,
Nice.
yeah, there's a myriad of different coasters you can find on Thingiverse. If you've
Oh
got
yeah.
friends that know, if you've got friends that even like tea, or they drink water, they're just coaster fanatics. And
Hmm.
man, you can find, and if you'll appreciate, you of all people ought to appreciate that too. It's kind of backwards. Do you get it, Mr. Chemist Man?
If my brain would function, I mean, unless
It's
that's
the
caffeine.
chemical composition of coffee. What
Yeah,
is it?
my,
One, two, three, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C8 and N403. C8 N403. I don't know. It looks cool, man. So that's the only thing that when I think of that, and then I don't have one readily, but you've got koozies of all different shapes and sizes.
for
That you
3D
slide your
print.
can. Yeah, you can 3D print it. And
Really?
you slide your can into it.
Oh.
You slide your can into it.
So
So
I take it you've printed one with a corn symbol on the side of it already for
no,
a
no, they are actually quite a taxing thing to print.
Huh. Oh, because there's not really an easy way to support it other than itself to print like a can holder.
Yeah. So if I punch in can holder here, see if I can't show you here. So, there you go. Fantasy mug holder or can holder. If you just, I wonder how I share a screen in this. Let's see here. How do I share my screen? There we go. Present. No, that's not right. So, either case, I'll send you a picture of it, man. I'll send you a picture of some of these things, man, and so people take different shapes and sizes of mugs and whatnot. You know, the koozie that you put your beer can in and whatnot. Now let's take that same concept, except let's print a whole mug that you slide your Monster can in, or you slide your Coke can in. Now you're not drinking out of a Monster can. Now you're drinking out of a fantasy mug or a Cthulhu head or whatever. And some people are even going even further and incorporating dice rollers into it. I saw a pattern the other night where it was, you've got, oh man, I don't have a coffee cup handy. Oh yeah, I do. It's got all my tools in it, right? So I mean, imagine this, but it's something you slide your can in, because PLA is not very what's the word I'm looking for? Food friendly. If I were to print an actual mug, I would have to treat the hell out of that thing, right? It's like carving out of wood, essentially. If you're gonna hand carve a coffee cup out of wood, you got to do the same kind of treatment. But then they'll put like the dice roller right here, where you drop the dice right here, and then it spits out right here. That's like the newest pattern of these things that are floating around the internet. It's crazy. So I'll have to figure out how to print one and mail you one. So, all right, man. Mr. Sean, it's been a pleasure. It's always an honor to talk to you. And I look forward to our next conversation, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we definitely need to do this more often. And honestly,
even if it's just us shooting the breeze.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Because again, advice for the new dads.
Yeah.
Reach out to people.
Yeah, reach out to people.
Find that support team.
So, yeah. All right, man. All right, you have a good one, man.
You too.
All right, later.
Bye.
Okay, so that was my conversation with Sean, really good friend of mine. We move on to our new year. So, new year, new dad. That's been episode 8. Looking at my notes, I was working on episode 9. Next week, we're going to talk about winter, because it's winter outside. It's still neg 20 in Alaska. It's still neg, dear God, who knows what the negative is like in the North Slope. It's still winter. So, I don't know who my guest is going to be next week. I extended the offer. I extend the offers a lot to a lot of people to come on, and I get a lot of yeah, we'll get back with you. So, ping me if you want to come on. If you're in the area and you want to come on, or we do just like I did with Sean. We can dial it up on Google Meets or Zoom or whatever. Let's talk dad stuff. Ping me. The next week's going to be winners, and then we'll move on to social media, and then on the Tuesday after Inauguration Day, Mr. Randall will be back, and we're going to talk about politics. So that's the next 3 weeks on Top of the Stairs podcast. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you next week.